Hi, welcome to my presentation on home buying mistakes to avoid. My name is Nicholas Romo. I'm a real estate broker for Realty Connection Group based out of Downey, California. My contact information is at the bottom left side, 800-659-4610. It's the office number. My cell phone is 562-373-5120. In case anyone wants to contact me directly via text or a phone call, I'll be glad to answer all your questions or provide you with the best advice possible. Um, Again, today's topic is home buying mistakes to avoid, and I've listed 9 mistakes that I think home buyers should avoid at all costs when they're in the process of buying a property, a home. When I say they're in the process, I mean the escrow period, the home buying process. Now, when a buyer looks at a house, they like it, they want to put an offer. The offer is submitted to the seller accepts the offer, they make a deal. At that point, the buyer submits or deposits the initial deposit or their earnest money deposit into escrow. Escrow is a third party neutral company that handles the money, handles the documents, and helps close the transaction for the buyer and the seller. While the buyer deposits the earnest money deposit into escrow, at that point, that's when the home buying process or the escrow period begins. That process can be anywhere between 30 to 40 days depending on the loan product. Okay, so at the end of that process, say 3 to 5 days approximately, the buyer's employer is going to get a phone call in most cases to find out if Jane Doe, the buyer, is still working there, right? The buyer's credit report may also be checked right around the same period of time to make sure that everything is the same, right? They don't want to see, a car loan all of a sudden that wasn't there before when they were pre-approved for the loan. They don't want to see that you already made, a 30-day lates or something like that, right? So again, that is going to happen in most cases, in most transactions. I would say 99% of the time that happens. Those two things, those two events, okay? The phone call and the check, the rechecking of the credit report. So these 9 mistakes is very crucial that the buyer does not commit these mistakes because that can cause delays and or kill the whole entire transaction at the end, right? So let's go ahead and jump right in. So number 1 is don't change your employment status. Okay, that means don't quit your job, don't become unemployed, don't change companies, and don't become self-employed. Now, don't change companies is interesting because, say, for example, you apply for a job 3 months ago at Amazon or X company, right? And now, when you're halfway through the home buying process, you get a phone call from the company saying, "Hey, we're going to hire you after all. You can start next week." What would you do in this case? Well, what I would do would be I would talk to that potential employer, and I would say, "Hey, Amazon, guess what? I'm in the process of buying a house, right? And if I change employers at this point, I'm going to be, it's going to be possible. It's going to be very likely that I'm going to lose the transaction. I'm gonna hurt the transaction, right? So can I start next week or after I close the loan, right? After I move into my house, whenever that happens, can I start then?" If they say no, then what I would do in that case is say, "You know what? All right, let me talk to my loan officer, to the lender, to the bank, so that they can communicate with the underwriter and find out if they would make an exception." And so you never know. I mean, they may make an exception. At that point, you got to choose whether you want to work with Amazon. Say they're not going to make an exception, right? The underwriter's going to say, "No, if you change jobs, the deal is dead." Now you got to choose between having a new job, a better paying job maybe, or having a house. So personally, I mean, it's a personal decision, and so that's just a scenario that I think happens, not often, but I think happens, and that's how I would handle it. Number 2 here is don't buy a vehicle, especially if it's financed. When you buy the vehicle, that increases your debt, right? So now when they go to check your credit at the end, you're going to have more debt. That is going to most likely, in most cases, is going to kill your deal. I would say most buyers in a situation like that would probably hurt their transaction. Number three, don't buy any expensive appliances or furniture. Wait until you move into the house, until you have the keys in your hand. That's going to also increase your debt if you buy it on obviously finance, right? It's going to increase your debt, and that's going to affect your loan approval. Number four, don't apply for new credit cards. A new inquiry in your credit report, even though it may not affect or lower your score very much, it can definitely, for those people who are on the border, right, they can barely qualify for a loan based on their credit score. You know, I wouldn't apply for a new credit cards causing an inquiry in my credit report. Number five, preferably don't use your credit cards. So if you have 3 or 4 credit cards, one credit card, whatever amount of cards you have, don't use them during that escrow period, during those 30 to 40 days. Just put it away, wait until you close on your loan, on your home loan transaction. Number six, don't make any late credit card payments. You know, a 30-day late will definitely lower your score, your credit score. Seven, don't co-sign for someone for a loan. That's just like applying for new credit. The bad thing about number seven, though, is that if you co-sign for somebody, what's going to happen is, say they stop making the payments, you're on the hook. If they don't make any payments, your credit score is going to be affected, and you're going to have to most likely have to make payments on that loan for the rest of the loan, for the rest of the life of the loan. Number eight, don't touch your money that you have set aside for the down payment. Leave it alone, right? When I say leave it alone, that means don't spend it. Don't move it from the savings to the checking. Don't move it from Wells Fargo to Bank of America. Leave it where it's at. As a matter of fact, don't even deposit large amounts of cash into that bank account, right? Say you have $20,000 underneath your mattress that you saved over the last 5 years, right? And you want to all of a sudden put it in your bank. I wouldn't do so, because that's going to, in most cases, going to delay the process, the transaction. It may not kill it, because if you can, somehow prove that money has been, you've been saving it. I don't know how you would prove that, but if you can prove it and they believe you, the underwriter believes you, then you should be all right. But it's going to definitely cause a delay in the process of the home buying process. So there you have it, 9 things to avoid when you're buying a house. Any questions, any comments, please comment below. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, share it. And again, my contact information is at the bottom. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. You can also visit my website, realtyconnectiongroup.com, and get in contact with me via the website. It was a pleasure doing this for you, and I hope I can help you, anyone on this video watching. I hope I can help you in the future with your real estate needs. Thank you.